Be me 28 million, working a dead-end IT job at a soulless corporation. Life is a monotonous cycle of debugging code, microwave meals, and lonely weekends spent doom scrolling. Used to have dreams, ambitions. Now I just dream of the weekend. Living in a cramped one-bedroom apartment that smells vaguely of damp socks and regret my only real friend is Dave. A guy from work who's just as jaded as I am, but better at hiding it with memes and dark humor. One rainy Tuesday, I'm nursing my third lukewarm coffee of the day, staring at a screen of code that might as well be ancient hieroglyphs. An email notification pops up. Subject, catch up, sender. Hannah Miller. My heart does a little stutter step. A name I haven't heard or seen in nearly a decade. Hannah, the girl from college. The one I brutally, callously, and very stupidly rejected. Flashback to 10 years ago. Be me, 18, freshman in college, full of unearned confidence and a truly awful haircut. Skinny, awkward, trying way too hard to be cool and edgy. Hannah was in my intro to psych class. She wasn't the popular girl. She was quiet, artsy, had this incredible smile that made her eyes crinkle at the corners. She wore band t-shirts, had paint stains on her jeans, and was always sketching in a little black notebook. We got paired up for a project. I was initially annoyed, wanted to be with my bros, but working with her was easy. She was smart, funny, and genuinely interested in my opinions, which was a new and intoxicating experience for me. We'd spend hours in the library, supposedly working, but mostly just talking about everything and nothing. Music, movies, dreams of what we'd do after college. She wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a hotshot game developer. I felt something for her, something real, but I was an idiot. My friends were all about chasing the hottest girls, the party girls. Hannah didn't fit that mold. She was real, and that scared the hell out of me. One night after we'd aced our project, we were walking back to her dorm. It was a cool autumn evening, leaves crunching under our feet. She stopped under a lamppost, looking nervous but determined. "Hey," she said, her voice a little shaky. I really like you. Like you. My 18-year-old brain short-circuited. All I could think about was what my friends would say. "You're hooking up with the quiet art chick," so I did the dumbest thing I've ever done. I laughed. Not a chuckle, a full-on condescending laugh. "Oh, Hannah," I said, trying to sound suave and detached. "You're a cool friend, but I'm not really looking for anything serious right now." The light in her eyes just went out. It was like watching a candle get snuffed. Her smile vanished, replaced by a look of such profound hurt that it physically pained me to see. "Oh," she whispered, "okay, I get it." She turned and practically ran back to her dorm without another word. I stood there under the lamppost, feeling like the biggest piece of trash on the planet. Avoided her for the rest of the semester. She dropped the class we were supposed to take together the next term. Never saw her again after freshman year. Heard she transferred to an art school out of state. For years, that memory has been my own personal cringe compilation, playing on a loop in the dead of night. Back to the present. My hands are shaking as I click open the email. "Hey, my name. Long time no see. I know this is super random, but I'm going to be in town next week for a work thing and was wondering if you'd be up for grabbing a coffee and catching up. No worries if not, hope you're doing well. Best, Hannah." My mind is racing. Why now, after all this time? What could she possibly want? To rub her successful life in my face? I show the email to Dave during our lunch break. Dave, in his infinite wisdom, munches on his sandwich and says, "Dude, you have to go." Why? So she can humiliate me. Bring a PowerPoint of all my failures. Nah, man, this is a ghost of cringe past. You gotta face it. Banish the demon. Plus, what if she's hot now? He had a point about the demon. The what if she's hot part was just classic Dave. I spent the rest of the day in a haze, my cursor hovering over the reply button. Finally, fueled by a mixture of morbid curiosity and a desperate need for something to break the monotony, I typed back, "Hey Hannah, wow, blast from the past. Yeah, I'd be up for that. Let me know when and where. My name." I hit send before I could second-guess myself for the 1,000th time. She replied within an hour. "A coffee shop downtown. Friday at 2 p.m. The rest of the week crawled by. I was a nervous wreck. I bought a new shirt. I got a haircut. I even cleaned my apartment just in case. I don't know what just in case she had spies. My brain was not working logically. Friday arrives. I'm sitting in the coffee shop 20 minutes early, my leg bouncing like a jackhammer. I've already spilled a bit of my overpriced latte on my new shirt, smooth. Every time the door opens, my stomach does a backflip. Then she walks in, and my brain just stops. It's her, but it's not. The shy, quiet girl from college is gone. In her place is a woman, confident, poised, with the same kind eyes but a new self-assuredness in them. She's not wearing a band t-shirt. She's in a stylish blazer and jeans that probably cost more than my entire wardrobe. Her hair is different, styled professionally, and she's wearing subtle makeup that highlights her features. She's beautiful. Not just hot now like Dave would say. Genuinely, breathtakingly beautiful. She spots me and that familiar heart-stopping smile appears, the one that crinkles her eyes. "Hey," she says, her voice smooth and warm. I manage to stand up without knocking over the table, a small victory. "My name. Wow, you look exactly the same but with less terrible hair." I laugh, a real, genuine laugh. "You can thank age and a lack of a college budget for that. You look amazing, Hannah." "Thanks," she says, blushing a little. It's a comforting flicker of the old Hannah. She gets a tea and we sit down. The small talk is a bit awkward at first. "How's work? How's the family?" Blah, blah, blah. I tell her about my IT job, trying to make it sound more exciting than it is. It doesn't work. She tells me she's a freelance graphic designer and illustrator. She works with big clients, travels for projects. Her life sounds vibrant, creative, and everything mine isn't. There's a lull in the conversation. The elephant in the room is just sitting there, sipping a tiny elephant-sized espresso. I decide to just grab it by the tusks. "Hannah, listen. About college, about that night, I was a colossal idiot. What I said, how I acted. There's no excuse. It was cruel and I've regretted it for years. I am so sorry." The words just tumble out. It feels like I've been holding them in for a decade. She looks at me, her expression unreadable for a moment. Then she nods slowly. "Thank you for saying that. It meant a lot to hear. I was just so insecure." I continue, the floodgates now open. "Worried about what my dumbass friends would think. It had nothing to do with you. You were amazing. You are amazing." She takes a sip of her tea, her eyes fixed on me. "I was pretty crushed," she admits, her voice soft. "It wasn't just the rejection. It was the way you did it, the laugh. That's what stuck with me." I flinch, the laugh. "Of course, I know," I whisper, my face burning with shame. "It was monstrous." "It was," she agrees, but there's no malice in her tone, just a statement of fact. "It made me feel small, worthless." It took me a long time to get over that. We sit in silence for a moment. The weight of my past stupidity hangs heavy in the air. "But," she says, and her voice is stronger now, "in a weird way, it was also the best thing that ever happened to me." I look up confused. "What?" "It was a wake-up call. I realized I was trying to get validation from people who didn't deserve to give it, like you." Ouch. But fair. I packed up my bags, transferred to an art school in New York, and decided I was going to build a life for myself where I didn't need anyone's approval. I was going to become someone I was proud of. She opens her bag and pulls out a small, leather-bound book. It's not her old black sketchbook. This one is worn, the cover soft with age. "You know," she says, a wry smile on her face. "I've thought about this moment for a long time. What I would say to you if I ever saw you again. I even brought some receipts." My blood runs cold. "Receipts?" She opens the book. It's a journal. She flips through a few pages and then stops, turning it to face me. It's a sketch of me. An incredibly detailed, painfully accurate sketch of 18-year-old me, sitting in the library, a goofy, concentrated look on my face as I tried to understand a textbook. The caption underneath reads, "The future hotshot game developer." She flips the page. Another sketch. This one of us laughing over a shared plate of fries in the student union. Page after page, a chronicle of our time together. Little moments I had almost forgotten, captured in perfect, heartbreaking detail. I used to draw you all the time, she says quietly. I was convinced you were this brilliant, amazing person. She flips to a new section. The drawings stop, it's just text now, journal entries. Her handwriting is angry, spiky. Words are underlined, some are crossed out. He laughed at me. Am I a joke? What is wrong with me? I hate him. I hate myself. It's like a punch to the gut, seeing my casual cruelty reflected back at me in her raw, private pain. I can't speak. My throat is tight. This, she says, tapping the journal, was my fuel for a long time. Every time I wanted to give up, every time I felt like I wasn't good enough, I'd read this. I'd remember how small you made me feel, and I'd swear to myself that I would never let anyone have that power over me again. I expect to feel anger, defensiveness. But all I feel is a profound, bottomless wave of shame and sadness. I look at this incredible woman sitting across from me, and I see the ghost of the girl I broke. Hannah, I managed to choke out. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything, she says, her voice softening. She closes the journal. I didn't bring this to make you feel bad. Then why? Because I'm over it, she says, and for the first time I truly believe her. I'm not that hurt, insecure 18-year-old girl anymore. I look back at her and I feel for her, but I'm not her. And you're not that arrogant 18-year-old kid anymore either, are you? I shake my head, unable to meet her eyes. No, that kid grew up to be a mediocre IT guy with a bad back. She reaches across the table and, to my utter shock, places her hand on mine. Her touch is warm, electric. Hey, don't say that. You're not mediocre. You were just lost, we both were. We talk for another 2 hours. She tells me about her struggles, the years of hard work, the crappy clients, the rejection she faced in her own career. She tells me about a bad breakup she went through, how it taught her to value herself. She's not perfect. Her life isn't a fairy tale. It's real and messy, and she's navigated it with a grace and strength I can only dream of. And she listens. She asks me about my job, about my life. She doesn't judge, she just listens. For the first time in years, I feel seen. As we get up to leave, there's that awkward moment of what now? So, I say, my heart pounding. You're in town for the week. Yeah, until Sunday, she says. I know this is a long shot, a really, really long shot, but would you be willing to, I don't know, have dinner with me tomorrow? Let me try to make up for being a world-class jerk a decade ago. She looks at me, a thoughtful expression on her face. A million years pass in that silence. Then she smiles, that genuine, eye-crinkling smile. I think I'd like that, she says. We go to dinner the next night. I'm a nervous wreck all over again, but it's different this time. It's not dread, it's hope. We talk and laugh. It's like no time has passed, but also like we're two completely different people meeting for the first time. I find myself telling her things I haven't even told Dave, about how I feel stuck, how I miss being creative, how I'd abandoned my dream of making games because I was afraid of failing. She doesn't offer easy platitudes, she just gets it. It's never too late, you know, she says, swirling the wine in her glass. Easy for you to say, you're a successful artist. Success is just a series of failures you learn from, she counters. My first year in New York, I lived off ramen and sold caricatures in Central Park. It was brutal. But I was drawing, I was creating. It was better than not trying. The weekend is a blur. We walk through the city. We visit an art museum. She points out the brushstrokes on a painting, her eyes full of passion. I take her to a retro arcade and we play old video games for hours. I see a spark of the old me, the kid who was excited about life. It's not a romance. Not yet. It's something more fragile, more tentative. It's two people reconnecting with a piece of their past and discovering who they've become. On Sunday, I drive her to the airport. The silence in the car is heavy. Neither of us wants it to end. At the terminal, she turns to me. Thank you, she says, for this weekend, for being you, the new you. Thank you for reaching out, I say. You didn't have to. Yeah, I did, she says. I had to close the book. I just didn't expect to want to start a new chapter. My heart does that stutter step thing again. Before I can overthink it, before the 18-year-old idiot in my brain can say something stupid, I lean in and kiss her. It's not a Hollywood kiss. It's gentle, brief, and a little clumsy, but it's real. She kisses me back. Long distance is tough, she says when we pull away, a little breathless. I'm willing to debug that issue, I reply. She laughs, a real beautiful laugh. You're still a dork. Yeah, but hopefully not an idiot anymore. She gives me one last smile, then turns and walks toward her gate. I watch until she disappears into the crowd. I drive home, and for the first time in a long time, my apartment doesn't feel so empty. That night, I dig out my old laptop, the one with my college projects on it. I open up a half-finished game I was designing, a stupid little platformer I was so proud of. I start coding. My fingers are rusty, but the logic is still there. The passion is still there, buried under years of corporate apathy. My phone buzzes. A text from Hannah. It's a picture of a sketch she just drew on the plane. It's me in the arcade, a huge, dorky grin on my face as I mash the buttons on a Street Fighter machine. The caption underneath reads, "The future hotshot game developer." Take two, I smile, a real smile. I don't know what's going to happen with us. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but it doesn't matter. Hannah didn't come back with receipts to shame me. She came back and gave me a receipt for a second chance. Not with her, but with myself. I turn back to the screen and I keep coding. The sun is coming up, and for the first time in a decade, I can't wait to see what the day will bring.